an apology. I've always talked about being transparent and accountable, and also breaking news. Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. Back home in Austin, Texas. I did make it through the airport in an indirect manner, but home safely, back with Silver Dog. And as you can see, I'm getting set for a musical weekend. Nice to be home, take a break from Silver, talk to my keyboard that lights up when I play it. So I'm going to keep this short and get back to the music soon. But I guess an apology. I've always talked about being transparent and accountable, and also breaking news. I try not to say that when it's unwarranted, but you're not going to believe how silly I feel. All this, I went to Washington, GoFundMe's and all of it. It turns out the CFTC, they sent a message. They got my evidence. They actually commented on it on February 23rd, just 11 days after I sent the first round in on February 12th, rather. Look at my sloppy research. Turns out they did comment. It's been sitting there waiting for me to get my head out of my keister the entire time. And fortunately, I'd like to apologize to the CFTC for all the shenanigans and whatnot, and certainly to the audience for not being on top of this a little bit sooner. But anyway, I won't keep you in suspense any longer. The big tease that I am here. So let us get right to, and I want to be transparent. You can go and see this on the CFTC's own YouTube page. Go figure. Come on. I'm giving this one a thumbs up, and I will subscribe. I'm, in fact, going to hit the notification bell. Again, hey, that's why I don't really call myself a silver analyst. I'm more of an entertainer, and, Fed jokes is my strong suit. But yeah, I'm at least going to try and improve. And okay, but this is not doctored footage. I promise you that. And let's see what the CFTC actually said on February 23rd about me, Chris Marcus, I think. Well, I'm Chris Marcus, but let's hear what they said on February 23rd. Just 11 days after I explained to them how silver fell 10% on the greatest day of silver demand in the history of the planet.
For DCO capital contributions to the default waterfall. While the subcommittee could not reach consensus on this issue, we hope that the Commission will consider it. The failure of a major DCO or even excessive margin volatility during a crisis could by itself lead to a disastrous financial crisis.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
The Commission should not rest in its work to prevent this from happening.
Chris Marcus is on board with that. That's on behalf of Chris Marcus. I did just go third person. Chris Marcus is on board with exactly what my man just said there. Although wait until Dick Berner comes on.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm now going to turn to Dick Berner, NYU Stern School of Business.
Now, Dick Berner, NYU.
Thank you. I want to start just by congratulating my fellow subcommittee members for producing the reports on marching and governance.
It's team effort. I mean, let's be clear. As Dick will explain, not one man can do this alone.
And the hard work and leadership of our co-chairs, Lee and Alicia. Like Marcus and the gentleman from Vanguard, I do want to raise 4 points related to our work, Lee and Alicia. Like Marcus and the gentleman from Vanguard, I do want to raise 4 points related to our work.
like Marcus and the gentleman from Vanguard, Marcus even coming in front of the gentleman from Vanguard. That was the stuff my mom used to invest in. I wonder if, I'll leave that aside.
Again, I want to stress the need for regulators periodically to reevaluate minimum margin regulatory requirements.
Marcus supports that.
And measures to reduce procyclicality in CCPs and markets.
You got to watch out for the pro-cyclicality in CCPs and markets. Now, it's interesting, in my actual time on the New York Stock Exchange where I was making markets and equity options, I don't remember actually ever having run into that previously, but excuse my manners. I'll stop.
Second, we've made progress on governance, but I think that the Commission, as Marcus said, should consider requiring a formal consultation period between CCPs and their clearing members ahead of a
Marcus said so. I mean, I agree.
Rule filing. Third, and as Lee Betzel mentioned, these two work streams are only really part of our remit. We need to complete the work on capital, stress testing, liquidity, default management, and transparency. And along the way, I think we want to encourage CCPs.
I agree with Dick about the transparency of the CCP. I feel that is extremely important. Marcus is on board.
Be open to greater transparency on risk management, including margin methodology, and on stress testing.
You guys know how I feel about the transparency. Maybe I'm talking my book, but you at least heard what I claim, how I feel about that.
And liquidity frameworks. This will only benefit the market. And fourth, several global issues will require our attention, including resolution and recovery regimes. The Commission collaborates with global counterparts on these and other issues, and I think the world looks to the United States to show leadership to achieve a level playing field.
Actually, I can confirm that because the first time I left the U.S., because I was really concerned of how things would unfold when the risks that the CFTC is allowed to fester in the suppressed gold and silver markets, I was wondering, geez, when this unfolds, is it going to be safe to be in America? That's why I left the first time. Lesson learned, the same banks that own the U.S. are own Europe as well. But it was interesting how when I mentioned any of these issues, the tone, many of the places outside of the United States where I've traveled is looking to the United States because there was this ideal sold about honest, transparent markets, land of the opportunity. And, but anyway, which was again, why I'm honored that the CFTC and Dick Berner are taking up Marcus's proposals.
With clear rules of the game. So I want to associate myself with Marcus's comments and those made earlier. Thank you.
Got it, homie.
Thank you, Dick. We will.
Geez, maybe I think I did get into NYU. I remember when I wrote my business school application. Maybe I should have gone there instead of Wharton. The quick story, when I did my business school applications, like there was some copying and pasting, and I remember I noticed there was like, might have been to NYU where it's like, and this is why I'd be a great fit at Wharton.
I'll take a vote on the motion that the MRAC adopt the subcommittee's report.
Now I know you're saying, how could I top what I just showed you? I'm gonna play a little bit more just so you can, because hey, this could be just, I'm picking an excerpt. Let's make sure. I mean, is there some stamp, some seal of official, who's putting their name behind this policy? So we'll play a few minutes, just maybe one minute more.
Containing recommendations on CCP governance and a summary of subcommittee constituent perspectives, and submit the report to the committee.
I mean, it's amazing how this CCP is all over this one.
For consideration. As a point of order, a simple majority vote is necessary for the motion to pass. I'm going to turn it over to Alicia.
Can we call this the Marcus motion?
And to conduct a roll call vote.
Thank you, Nadia. Committee members, when I call your name, indicate your agreement with aye, disagreement with nay, or indicate abstain if you are abstaining from the vote. Please. Rules
clear enough for a congressman to follow. I haven't decided yet whether I'll make a separate video, but in the beginning where you hear the CFTC commissioners trying to test their microphones on Zoom, it's special.
Remember to unmute your audio to indicate your vote. and to mute your audio once you have finished voting. Salman Benai, IHS Market.
Aye.
Salman Benai votes aye.
To the Marcus proposal.
Stephen Berger, Citadel.
Aye.
Citadel also
Stephen
approves the
Berger
Marcus motion.
votes aye. Richard Berner.
Aye.
Dick is
Richard
on
Berner
board
votes
with
aye.
the Marcus
Lee
motion.
Betzel, CME.
Aye.
CME
Lee
votes
Betzel
aye
votes
for the Marcus
aye.
motion.
Peter Borish, Quad Group.
Aye.
Peter Borish votes aye. Biz Chatterjee.
It's like a
Citigroup.
no-hitter. Perfect game.
Aye.
Biz Chatterjee votes aye. Alicia Crichton, FIA.
And Goldman Sachs.
Aye.
Wow! And he hits the parlay. Yes. I mean, I don't know. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Jeff Curry was on part of this particular committee to design the futures market structure that has the ability to tamp down the greatest buying spree in the history of silver on the planet. But hey, let's not get greedy. I am grateful for this breaking news. And by the way, just a quick update, because now that the secret's out, some of you remember Silverfest 2020, which was online, but since we're back to doing things like Arcadians these days, I'm going to be down in Mexico around Halloween. And if you're ready for Silverfest 2, amongst other things, perhaps we'll, what could we be doing there? I mean, what if, for example, if you thought about, I mean, that has to, when you really analyze that the Marcus proposal has gotten ununanimous support across the board from the CFTC, I mean, that seems like a sign of the Armageddon to me. And so imagine if you put the current context of the silver banking cartel in its rightful place, set it to music, almost if you mixed like Atlas Shrugged and that Pink Floyd The Wall movie, which was one of my favorites growing up. I might jam through that one a little bit later. And just before we wrap up, like I said, it's going to be a musical weekend. Again, this entire video, complete satire, was just teasing in this video or harmed or anything like that. I'm just having a little fun. Maybe I had a margarita or something 2 days ago, and you know how that goes. But just to wrap up, actually, I did turn this into a song about 10 years ago, coming up on the anniversary, believe it or not. So I will leave you with that, and I'm going to go shred down, but I will see you again soon.
This time the bill will not just go away, pushed off another day. The opulence we stole was never here to stay. It couldn't be maintained and now it will decay. While we were warned, we never seemed to care. To be austere never seemed real fair. chance to undo the wrong and to become aware the problem was for real. It was no random scare, but we acted like we really didn't care. The bridge is burned and now we can't turn back. Can we avoid the fate to black? Why did we stop the motor of the world while underneath the battle raged and whirled? We left the bill for all our children here, the helpless boys and girls. We left behind a world full of fear and peril. We left behind their hopes and dreams to twist and swirl. We should have tried to put the fire out. We never heard the lonely cries and shouts. We could have seen if we had cared to know what this was all about. If we had only learned, we could have done without. It would have changed our fate. We're left with little doubt. The demagogues who told us what to do. Words sounded good, yet they were rarely true. When all the while the ones who actually knew, who shared a different view, told us to seek a